Alright guys, what's going on? This is Otis here. And today I got an idea for a new series. I'm going to try it, and if it works out, I'm going to do it with all the other guns, but pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the pistols and just pretty much say just information about the pistols and just some pretty much useless facts that probably only I care about. But, you know, if you guys do end up enjoying it, I'm going to do it on the submachine guns, the assault rifles, and the sniper rifles, and then the automatic machine guns. And so I think this will be pretty interesting, at least. So let me know what you guys think about it. All right, and the first weapon I'm gonna start out with is the MP412RX. Now, anytime you ever see a pistol or an assault rifle that has MP in it, which is usually on pistols, that is the MP stands for military and police. And so typically what you'll see with that stuff is, you know, obviously police and military personnel using that weapon most of the time. And civilians can purchase those weapons regularly, depending to it's just how much you want to pay. And so the MP 4112 Rex is a Russian double-action 357 Magnum revolver with the break-action chamber and automatic injector. It was designed for export, which is, I guess, what the Rex stands for, which is called revolver for export, but has never been put into full production due to the lack of a market. The weapon was designed by, I don't even know how to say it, IZH, which is actually a state-owned Russian manufacturing plant. And so basically what happens is the government actually owns the pistol, or at least makes the pistol. And the reason why it wasn't really mass-produced was the way it's designed, because it's the one that like opens up, and overall when you have a revolver opening up like that, they're more susceptible to failure, and it's just not a strong like design for a revolver too, because usually revolvers got a little bit bigger round than your normal pistol. And so, like, overall, you know, it could lead to failure in the pistol towards the end of it. And so it was never really a full production gun because of that reason. And also, this is a little interesting facts. The games that it has appeared in is Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield Play for Free, which was that the app on the phone? I don't know if that was the app on the phone. Battlefield 3, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Alright, the next pistol we have is the Beretta 93R, which is a normal Beretta that has been modified to shoot either a single action, which is either one shot, or a 3-round burst. And the reason why they made it automatic was just because they wanted to compete with the Glock 18, which is an automatic, which is their automatic pistol. And the pistol actually first came out during a Black Friday sale, and that's how they debuted the weapon. And that was in 2011, which was not too long ago, a few years ago, or actually not even a few years ago, like a year and a half ago or so now. But the overview of the weapon: the Beretta 93R, being one of the first NX standard pistols to inherit a burst fire capability, was sold when Black Friday's sales occurred in 2011. The pistol carries less ammo in the reserve, holding 40 in the total rounds, even though it has a bigger mag of 20 rounds in comparison to the Glock 18's 15. It is also the first pistol class weapon to hold 20 round magazine capacity, which, depending on, you know, your state laws and stuff, you can have that full 20 round magazine. In California, where I am, the max magazine capacity for a pistol, I believe, is 8 now for civilians, unless you're a police officer in the military, and then you can have the extended mags in California. At least anything over an 8 round is considered an extended mag in California, which is stupid and retarded. I don't even want to get on California's gun laws, because they're just stupid. I mean, it's like England too. It's like England's got some ridiculous gun laws, but you know what? It's just unfortunately how it is. And this is what I thought was pretty interesting. The pistol has a similar animation, like the reloading, like it's pretty much designed like the Scorpion, the Desert Eagle, which I thought was just pretty interesting. At least, and that's how it's designed on. And pretty much they designed this gun as pretty much to be only fired in the burst fire. It was never really intended to be a single shot weapon. But, you know, it's because of the 3-round burst. They want to make it full auto, was because those 3-shot bursts, it makes it a lot more accurate, and so it was just something that they decided to do instead of making it full auto. And The Beretta chews through ammunition very fast, just like any automatic or semi-automatic pistol, because of the 40-round magazines and the 20-round magazines, which you have to reload those pretty fast. And I don't think it's got any drum magazines for it. I'm not sure though. All right, and another little interesting fact: the R in the Beretta 93R stands for Rafficia. I don't know if I'm saying that one properly either, but it's actually in Italian for meaning burst, and so they ended up throwing that on there. So it could just I don't know. I guess maybe that was where it was designed. Not fully sure. And you can also put a suppressor on it, and the pistol has a foregrip, so you can use it on two hands, just so you have more accuracy when you're firing on the burst. And that was pretty much it for the Beretta. All right, now on to the next one. The Glock 17, or the G17 in the game as it referred to. It was actually the very first Glock that was made, and it was designed in Austria in 1979 to 1982, and then the first production models came out in 1982 and are still in production today. This is a very solid weapon. This is what most of your police officers are using in America, at least now. It's either the Beretta or the Glock 17, and for a variety of reasons too. It's just a very good solid pistol, and they're pretty cheap too, so you don't have to worry about breaking them, although they are very durable and stuff. And the third generation of the Glock 17, they actually made it to where you can put your laser sights and flashlights onto the pistol. And the fourth generation's models now have new checkered grips, which is pretty much the checkered grips. Why you would want those, or why it could be like a practical thing for that. And that just basically means where you've got like little grooves towards the handle. And this is just something that I've learned being, associated with law enforcement with my degree and stuff, is say if you get shot or something, blood's actually very slippery. And people who've gone fishing and stuff on ocean boats at least, and have dealt with like tuna and other stuff, when there's a lot of blood on the deck, it is very slippery. And so if you happen to get shot one time, your hands are very slippery, and that's another reason why a lot of people end up dying in gunfights, is because you can't actually reload your weapon, or it's hard to shoot, just because if you happen to get blood on the weapon, it's very slippery. But with the checkered grips, you'll at least probably have a little bit more grip if you happen to get shot, if there's blood in a situation like that. And the standard issue is a 9mm, but also what's very interesting about the Glock 17 is you can order it in almost any caliber you want to. And it's got the 9mm, the 10mm, which is actually something that was made for the P90. The P90 uses that exclusively. It uses the 10mm, and that I'll say when I get to the submachine gun part. But the 10mm, why that was made with the P90 was because it was a NATO weapon. NATO came to manufacturers and said, we want a submachine gun that is able to pretty much penetrate body armor. And so what they had to do is they had to make a specialized bullet, because 9mm don't end up piercing body armor, but the 10mm they made, it's kind of more of like an assault rifle type round, but it's in a submachine gun, and so it's able to pierce body armor. And the 45 ACP, I've shot this one in the 9mm and in the 45, and it's just a very good, very accurate weapon. It's a little big, I would say, this weapon for females' hands, because when I went shooting with my girlfriend, she couldn't really handle it that well. It was almost like a little bit too big for her, but it's just something, depending on your hands. That's the number one thing with picking a gun, is you got to pick something that fits well in your hands. That's pretty much like designed for you. And it also uses the 40 S&W, the 357 SIG round, the 45 gap, and the 380 ACP. So you're able to get it in pretty much whatever type of round that you want for the gun, depending on your type of situation, whether you're in law enforcement, police, or just shooting it for a good old time. All right, and on to the next one, the 44 Magnum. This is a beast of a gun. And so the Remington Magnum, or simply the 44 Magnum, is a large bore caliber originally designed for revolvers after the introduction. It was quickly adapted for carbines, rifles. Despite the 44 design, all guns chambered for the 44 Magnum case and its parent case, the 44 Special Use bullets, approximately size of .429 inches, which is almost basically half an inch. Like, that's how big the bullet is. I've shot this before too, and this gun will absolutely beat the shit out of you. It is a very, very like there's just so much kick in like with your hands and your arms. There's just so much force, and it's an amazing gun to shoot. But you can't shoot many rounds. I believe I shot when we shot it because my uncle's a competitive shooter, and he had one when we were visiting him one time in New Jersey, and these things just, like I've said before, they just beat the shit out of you. I believe I shot 12 rounds, and I was just so dead and so sore after that. It was the very last gun I shot, which, was something that they recommended for us. I think my girlfriend maybe, and she emptied the gun, I think, so she shot 6 rounds, but I did it twice. It's just undescribable how much like kick there is in it. And a little bit more information on it. The 44 Magnum is based on the lengthened 44 special case, loaded to a higher pressure for greater velocity and thus energy. The 44 Magnum has since been eclipsed and powered by the 454 Castle. Among others, nevertheless, it has remained one of the most popular commercial loaded-bore Magnum cartridges, loaded to its maximum with heavy, deep penetrating bullets, which basically deep penetrating bullets means like depending on how far you put the bullet into the actual casing, it depends on how fast you go, and you're able to put maybe more powder in there. But if you leave space in between the actual black powder and the bullet's going to travel a little bit less, which it doesn't really like maybe affect its full performance. If you are actually like hunting and stuff, it would be a little bit better when you have a slower bullet, because typically a slower bullet's going to do more damage when it's going through whatever you're trying to shoot, kill, or whatever. And the bullets too with the 44 Magnum, they're very, very expensive too. And so a lot of people who actually do end up shooting the 44 Magnum, they actually reload their own ammunition. So pretty much what that means is after you're done firing it, you collect all the shells and you keep them, and then you buy your own bullets, your own black powder, and you pretty much you reload them. So you make them whole new bullet yourself, and it's a lot cheaper, especially people who do it, who fire on a constant basis, especially going to ranges or competitions and stuff like that. Alright, and the very last pistol, the M1911, which it's in the game if you were in the EA Gun Club or if you had like the limited edition. I'm not sure exactly how, but I know I have it, because I was in the Gun Club even before Battlefield 3 came out. But the M1911 is a single-action semi-automatic magazine-fed operated handgun chambered with the 45 ACP cartridge, which has served as a standard issue sidearm from the United States from 1911 to 1985, which is why it got its 1911 name, because that's when it came to service in the military. And it's still carried by some U.S. forces. Most of the special forces actually end up carrying the 45 version of it. And you can get it, and nowadays you can get it in all calibers, but the most popular calibers for it are the 9mm, the 40, and then the 45. And I think to have one made and stuff, it's around like $1,000 to like $1,500 if you go to a good someone to have them like make it too. But it's a very, very nice, just smooth gun, especially if you have like an original one or maybe one built like in the 50s and 60s. They're absolutely just like amazing handguns. And I would definitely say if you're a gun shooter and you've never shot one, I would definitely grab one and go shooting with it, because they're a beast of a gun pretty much. And so, designed by John Browning in 1911, which he was a very, very famous gun maker. He made the BAR, the Browning Automatic, which is pretty key in World War II as a pretty much portable machine gun, and is best known for his designs and the use of the short recoil principle in his basic design. The pistol was widely copied, and the operating system rose to become the premier type in the 20th century. Nearly all modern centerfire pistols have this type of design. And a centerfire pistol, what that means, when you ever have a centerfire round, that means the primer is in the center is in the center of the bullet, or the bullet cartridge, not the actual bullet. And there's two types of firing. There's center fire, and then I forget what the other firing is, but pretty much on 9mm and above, they're almost all going to be center fire. And the only time it's not going to be center fire is usually on a 22, and that's just basically as long as the hammer hits the back somewhere on the casing, it's going to fire the bullet. But when you have the center fire, the firing pin has to hit the primer pretty much in the center in order for it to go off. Otherwise, you're going to have a misfire. And the pistol is popular with civilians, shooters, and competitions such as the USPSA, which is the United States Pistol Shooters Association, IDPA, I don't know what that is, the International Practice Shooting Confederation, and bullseye shooting. Compact variants are popular with civilians concealed carry weapons because of the design, inherent slim width, and the power of the 45 ACP. And there's a lot of people when they do their concealed carrying too. There's a lot of different types of holsters too and stuff, depending on what's your needs are and stuff that a lot of law enforcement people use, even civilians use, which I didn't even know there was different types of like holsters and stuff until I started doing some of the police work, and so that was pretty interesting. But hopefully you guys ended up liking this video, and if you did, I will start the assault rifles or the submachine guns or something next. And thanks for watching, everyone.